Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido and today we're coming from Legendaries City where the stakes are huge because of the Flare hosting the Pony Stars, and as that mold breaker ability is going to be set over the field from Tinkerton, let's have a look at this tail of the tape where the Pony Stars are coming in 8th place with a 3-game win streak, and if they get their 4th they could move themselves up into an Elite 4 position. And speaking of Elite 4 positions, the Flare are currently in 3rd, having dropped down during this round from 1st place, which they want to get back to with a victory here. So with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the Fire types? Will it be the Fairy types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And it is going to be Charizard and Typhlosion starting out for the Flare as we get the alluring voice from Charizard onto Carbink, who is joined by Tinkerton. Typhlosion follows it up with the Vine Whip, which is going to be resisted here by Tinkerton, allowing the Steel Fairy type to go for the Sand Tomb. This will be super effective, but it's avoided by Typhlosion. Fantastic evasion there, but Carbink goes with the Magical Leaf, which is not going to be very effective there onto Typhlosion, allowing Charizard to try and capitalize here, going with the Brine, which is super effective onto that highly defensive Carbink. Typhlosion looking to follow it up, goes for the Smoke Screen, but that Clear Body ability on Carbink prevents its stats from being lowered, allowing Tinkerton to set up a Sunny Day, which is very clever because that Solar Power ability on Charizard is going to hurt its health, and we get the Frenzy Plant follow-up that is avoided by Charizard from Carbink, but there is that Solar Power chipping away at its health. The Lunge from Typhlosion doing very little damage there to Tinkerton, but it does lower that physical attack, and Charizard is going to follow it up with the Brick Break, capitalizing on that part Steel typing as Tinkerton responds with the Bone Rush, but it goes for Charizard, who has that part Flying type, and so it is immune, and Carbink with the Agility trying to give itself a speed boost here. It only has that base 50 speed, so you have to question if it will be moving the quickest, but it is. It's now got that speed control, goes for the Dynamic Punch, but that is going to be avoided by Typhlosion, allowing Typhlosion to respond with the Smart Strike, and this is not going to miss. Gets in some good damage there onto Tinkerton as well, and we get the Bolt Strike follow-up from Charizard, but that is going to be avoided by Tinkerton. So many evasions so far. The Shockwave from Tinkerton though onto Typhlosion gets in some okay damage, but surely it should have gone for Charizard as Carbink with the Sleep Powder, but that's also going to be avoided by Typhlosion, allowing Charizard to go for the Cosmic Power. It is going to be boosting that physical defense as well as that special defense here on the field, and Typhlosion follows it up with its own Cosmic Power. These two wanting to keep their stats spread the same here, which is very impressive to see. Great teamwork between the two, whereas Tinkerton with the Moon Blast gets in some okay damage for a not very effective move there onto Charizard, but that follow-up Solar Power damage doing more. The last resort though from Carbink is going to fail, and this allows Charizard to try and capitalize, going for the Psychic Noise onto Tinkerton. Not very effective, but it is going to prevent the Fairy Steel type from being able to heal for a number of turns, and Typhlosion with the chance to follow it up, going with that Leer. It is going to lower those physical defenses of Tinkerton, who goes with the Poison Fang onto Charizard. Doesn't do that much damage, but that Harsh Sunlight has finally faded over the field as Carbink goes with the Tea Time. And whilst everyone is chowing down on their berries, let's take a time to thank that waggling finger of power, that sponsor of this game, the Metronome, that allows this to take place. And if you didn't know, more than 40% of the moves that can be called by the Metronome are physical type moves, with the least amount of moves actually being special. You're more likely to get a status move. But back to the action, Typhlosion with the Eerie Spell, trying to finish off Tinkerton. Not very effective. It's able to hold on, but it is in knockout range, having its PP cut by 3. Charizard could capitalize, goes for the Fusion Flare, but it goes for Carbink here. It is going to resist that move. It is able to hang on. It's also in knockout range. Tinkerton though with the Dragon Breath onto Typhlosion doesn't do that much damage here. However, Tinkerton is no longer prevented from healing as Carbink with the Hyper Beam onto Typhlosion, getting in some really good damage there. Typhlosion though is going to respond with the Hyper Voice to complete the huge play, taking out both Fairy types at the same time. A fantastic combination for the Flare there. Charizard just needs to not be reckless, goes for the Inferno. That is going to fail, which is great for the Legendaries Flare, as now out comes Gallade for the Pony Stars. It is going to be joined by Fluttermane, and if you're wondering why Gallade here is on the field, it is because it has been embracing this Fairy typing all season as their Terrestrial drafting, and it wants to do it here again. It wants to get that 4th victory in a row for the Pony Stars and move them up the leaderboard. But it is going to be Fluttermane with that speed control going for the simple beam here onto Typhlosion, getting rid of that flash fire and giving it the simple ability. See if they can lower its stats here in the matchup, as Typhlosion with another psychic noise on to Gallade, trying to prevent it from being able to heal as well. It doesn't have that fighting typing anymore. It doesn't have that psychic typing either, as the psychic fangs. Great connection there by Charizard onto Fluttermane. Gallade though going with the Dire Claw, putting Typhlosion into knockout range, and they've put it to sleep as well. Fluttermane has a massive opportunity to try and capitalize here in this match, going with the focus energy. That could be a critical play. It doesn't go on the offensive just yet, but it is getting pumped, as Typhlosion is not getting pumped. It is just snoozing here on the field, and it is such an easy target as Charizard with the round, keeping on the offensive, going for Gallade, getting some really good damage there, as well as Gallade does respond by setting up a Misty Terrain. The Pony Stars are going to enjoy this, and they're not going to have to worry about those weakened Dragon type moves because they are immune to Dragon type attacks. And it is no longer prevented from healing. That is Gallade, as Fluttermane with the Icy Wind. It's going to connect with both fire types. Not very effective on Typhlosion. Critical hit on Charizard, but it's able to hang on by a thread. That speed does get lowered for both fire types. This may allow Gallade to move first, and that it does. It could capitalize. Goes for the Dragon Hammer, and it brings the hammer down onto Charizard, getting one on the board for the Pony Stars. Typhlosion is all by itself. It needs to wake up right now, but it is still fast asleep, which is great for the Pony Stars. And it is Ceruledge coming out for the Lava Ridge Flare, as Fluttermane immediately goes for the Aurora Beam to finish off Typhlosion. Not very effective, but effective enough, as well as that critical hit to level the playing field with 4 Pokemon remaining on both sides. Ceruledge though, with the Simple Beam, now giving that simple ability to Fluttermane. It loses that Proto-Synthesis. They need to try and lower its stats here in the process, as Gallade is going to go for the Accelerock, super effective there onto Ceruledge, and also with that weak armor ability, it does lower its defenses. However, it will get the speed boost, and too many of those will allow it to move quicker than Fluttermane if it doesn't already, as out comes the Lava Ridge Flare's own Terrestrial Draftee. It is Slitherwing coming out onto the field, who also comes in with that part fighting typing that it will be shedding to take on this Soul Fire typing. See Slitherwing and Gallade go head to head would be fantastic, but it is Ceruledge with the speed control, with the poison gas. However, with that Misty Terrain surrounding the Pony Stars, with that protective mist, this allows Fluttermane to go for the Sludge Bomb. Gets in that not very effective, but really good damage onto Ceruledge, as Slitherwing is going to fly up high into the sky, meaning Gallade needs to focus in on Ceruledge here, and it is going to go with the Seed Bomb, but it does go for Slitherwing, who's able to avoid that attack, allowing Ceruledge to go with the Esper Wing onto Gallade. Gets in some okay damage there, but another speed boost for Ceruledge, as well as Fluttermane is going to ride that Surf, which is going to be avoided by Slitherwing, but it takes out Gallade and gets the critical hit on its own teammate, taking out Ceruledge. At the same time, we are down to a 3 versus 3 matchup, but Slitherwing has not finished off that fly. This could do massive damage. It has 135 base physical attack. It is going to be coming down hard from the sky onto Fluttermane and gets the elimination, putting the Lava Ridge Flare back in front. There's only 2 Pokemon remaining for the Pony Stars. And that mist does disappear from the field, as out comes Hatterene for the Stars. It is going to be Magmortar coming out for the Lava Ridge Flare, and the last Pokemon for the Stars, it's going to be Alola Ninetales, who's part Ice type, but it has the speed control. Immediately going for the Lick, doing very little damage to Magmortar there. And Magmortar is able to respond with the Rock Blast, but that is avoided by Ninetales, as Slitherwing is going to go for the Force Pump onto Hatterene. You have to think it should have gone for Ninetales with that move. Even with the critical hit, it still did very little damage, allowing Hatterene to ride its own Surf here, doing damage to everyone, getting super effective damage though on the fire types, allowing Ninetales to follow it up with the Withdraw. It is going to boost that physical defense on the field, as Magmortar with the Uproar begins to cause this Uproar, going for Hatterene, gets in some great damage as well in the process, and Slitherwing could follow it up here, going with the Simple Beam. Everybody's abilities are being turned into simple in this matchup. Hatterene losing that healer ability in the process, as it is going to go for the Dive. It's going to hide underwater. It's going to try and go for another super effective attack, as Ninetales will have the opportunity to follow it up as well, going with the Fly. They're going higher and low here. The Flare just need to not be reckless. That Uproar is going to be avoided by everybody, as Slitherwing also goes for the final Gambit. It's willing to take itself out, but there's no target for it to hit. Hatterene avoids it, but it goes for the Dive onto Slitherwing to get that elimination with that super effective move. It levels the playing field 2v2. The Pony Stars are still in this, but the Flare are about to send out their last Pokemon as Magmortar does come down. And it is their ace in the hole because it's Cinderace coming out onto the field and immediately goes for the Teeter Dance. It's going to become a normal type with that Libero ability coming into play. And it is going to leave Hatterene and Magmortar confused, but Ninetales is still high up in the sky, so it doesn't have to worry about it. We know it's going to come down hard, but who it comes down onto, we do not know. And with this opportunity, it goes for Magmortar, and the Pony Stars are now in front because Magmortar has been eliminated. Cinderace is all by itself. These two fairy types to contend with, but Hatterene needs to shake off this confusion and focus in here, and it is able to as it goes with the Sing. It's going to put Cinderace to sleep. The normal type Cinderace is fast asleep on the field. Ninetales could capitalize here as Cinderace fast asleep, snoozing away, and it is at a 2-1 disadvantage. Ninetales with the flamethrower. This will not be resisted, gets in some really good damage as well on the normal type. Hatterene once again needs to shake off this confusion. The Flare need it to fail though. It is successful, going for the Boom Burst, doing damage to everybody, but it puts Cinderace into knockout range, who is still fast asleep even with those big ears. Hearing that Boom Burst, it still didn't wake up, and it's on the receiving end of a Petal Blizzard that also does damage to Hatterene, but the Pony Stars have just gotten their fourth victory in a row because they have eliminated Cinderace, and the Flare have just lost. They are not able to move themselves back on top of the leaderboard. But this is massive for the Stars because they have actually moved up to 4th place. They are in the Elite Four, one spot below the Flare, as next round the Stars have a massive matchup because they are going up against the Ula Macros, whereas for the Flare next round, they are going up against the Goldenrod Guild. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.